Hello again, everybody. This is Mr. Everything, and I am coming back at you with some more wargaming and miniature video. Okay, so in this video, what we're going to do is, this is an experiment. This is basically you're going to get to see my thought process in action. Okay, so in the past, what I had done was I would get some thin 40 millimeter bases, and I'm going to pull a couple of these out, and you can see they're very thin. They're 0.8 millimeter, and they're from Litco. So if you're interested, go to Litco. They do a great job. That's all I got to say about that. Okay, so this is what I would normally base my elite companies on. When I am basing for like black powder, I would add magnets that I would also get from Litco, and these are in 40 millimeter. Let's set those off to the side. Okay, these are self-adhesive, so what you would do is you would just pull the sticky paper off, and then what I do is I put them on my table flat, and I kind of line them up side by side so that they are both parallel, I guess is the word I'm looking for, or lined up. At least one of the sides is lined up. And then I would allow them to be pressed together. And so this side would be flush. Sometimes the magnets are just a little bit larger than the wood, which is okay. And if that's the case, you can just cut it, or you can just leave it. It doesn't hurt anything. This magnet, and you can see that's a white paper. These magnets tend to have this powder on them. And you got, I don't know if the glare, if you can see that, but it feels like they're coated in some kind of, I don't know, mold release. You know, that's kind of what it feels like. So what I do is I clean the magnet off, basically just because it's nasty feeling on your fingers. Cleans off. Okay, good. And I'm gonna do 2 of these just because like I said, this is an experiment, and I'll get into what I'm experimenting with here in just a minute. And I usually take the burnt side of the wood and I put it up against the magnet, and I leave the other side, which is usually very pristine, on the other side. And that makes it a cleaner base that I can write on and say, you know, like 4th Grenadier Guards or something like that on the base. Okay, so yeah, this magnet was just way bigger. I don't know if you can see on the edge there a little bit of the black sticking out. So what I do is I usually just lay it down, use the wood base as a straight edge, and then just cut the magnet piece off and then just ditch it. Yep, that's side 2. If it's which is good, because that means the magnet's not too small. Okay, I didn't cut anything there. What's up with that? Yeah, because if the... Okay, well, I'm just going to leave it. And then there you have it. So this is the start of an elite company base. And then what I would normally do, and I will show you, I will take 20 by 40 bases. Hey, and I pulled 4 of them out. That's perfect. 20 by 40s, and I will mount 2 figures per base. And magnetize, put flex steel on the bottom of these, and then you would be able to stick them onto your magnet like that, and then you would have an Elite Company base. And then if you wanted to, you could pull one of these off with a couple of figures and, you know, deploy them out front of your unit and treat that as your skirmisher base, right? Okay. And flex steel would look exactly like this. Get 4 of those out. Okay, they would look exactly like that, and then I would do the exact same thing. These right here are not flex steel. These 4 that I just pulled out of this bag are magnetic base bottoms. This is a magnet, and this is a magnet. What I had done with the flex steel was, it works fine. It works perfect. But it does, I mean, okay, let me rephrase that. It works really good unless I have a heavy miniature on that base. So if there's a heavy miniature on the base, then that flex steel and magnet combo is not strong enough to hold it in place. Like if you pick one of the figures up, you might disconnect it from the magnetic base bottom. Which is, it's fine. You just got to be careful and or cautious when you start picking up your models. You just got to make sure you grab from the base bottom and not by the model or what have you. But I noticed that with heavier models, it became evident that the flex steel magnet combo just wasn't a strong enough adhesion. So what we're going to experiment with today is magnet on magnet action, right? Magnet holding against another magnet. There is a cautionary tale here. They have polarity. So you got to make sure you match the polarity before you start mounting your figures. Now, I pulled out one of my front rank metallic battalions here that I have not finished or started. I haven't even started working on these guys. I'm going to pull 4 figures out. It could be any 4. It doesn't really matter. I'm going to pull 4 figures out. I'm going to flatten the curve. I'm going to flatten the base of them. So that they can stand up on their own, you know. Bear with me, guys. These have not been washed. These have not been cleaned or anything. So these are just straight out of the bag. Whoa, dude. Okay. Now, because I haven't started cleaning them or washing them or painting them or anything, I don't want to permanently attach them to these magnetic bases. So I'm going to grab some of my 3M double-sided tape, and we're just going to put a little bit on each of these bases. Nothing too extravagant. Just, whoa, okay, you're disappearing. Okay. Watch my bald head. Okay. And then I'll just stick a couple of these on here. They don't have to be yeah. There you go. even though I did 4, I'm only going to do 2. Okay, so there they go. Now I would take these magnets and put them on, and I got to see if they will stick. And it doesn't. There's too much of that powdery. Oh, this one must not have been cleaned off, because the powder has like a sandy surface to it. You got to really clean it off. I'm thinking maybe even some cleaner or something to get that off of there. Okay, that one's clean. So it doesn't look like, oh, okay, that was pretty good. Yeah, that doesn't hook or stick at all. But that does. That's on there. Both sides. Okay. Whoa. Okay, that's even better. If I turn it, it doesn't really stick at all. But if I go this way, yeah, that sticks pretty darn good. Okay, so then I just take another one and I... Okay, they're kind of fighting. So I'm going to turn it around 180 degrees. I don't know if you can hear that argument that these guys are having. Yeah, they stick on there pretty tight. Let me turn 180 degrees. Turn this guy. Okay. Yeah, because this magnet wants to stick, but it wants to push a little bit to the side. See that? It doesn't want to stick right there on the edge. See that? That's very soft. Okay, now on that base, it sticks perfect right there, lines up. So that's why you need to experiment with some of your magnets to see which ones actually will want to stick in the right place and which ones won't. Okay, that one's fighting against this other magnet, I do believe. So I got to turn it around, and then it was sticking pretty good. What about with this guy? Like that? No problem, but I don't want that. Okay, that's not too bad right there. That's actually really good right there. That's an Elite Company base. And then these two don't really work together. So what I need to do is make more and pair them up. And that's what I anticipated was some magnets will pair together with other magnets and some will not. So I just got to make sure. Okay, that one goes on this big base bottom with no problem, but this one doesn't. And this one went on that base bottom with no problem and not on this one. So that just tells me that I'm going to have to experiment, fiddle fart around with them. Okay. Well, while these are mounted, I'm going to go ahead and peel the backing off of the double-sided tape. And the double-sided tape is going to simulate having these figures glued down to these bases, and also have the figures and also the flock and the gravel and all that other stuff. I'm not really concerned about how this looks or anything. I just want these to add the extra weight to those bases. Hopefully that you get the idea, you know, that these 4 figures are now on these bases. They would normally be glued down. There would be flock all around it and stuff like that. And the thickness here of the base is 3 millimeters, because you got the magnet. If you take 0.8 and you multiply it by 4, what do you get? You get like 32, right? So it's almost like 3.2 millimeters or something, but it actually comes out to about 3 millimeters, because I think the magnets are actually thinner than the wood. And so when you butt it up against a normal 3 millimeter wooden base, they're the same height. Yeah. Okay, so the bases are magnetized. I've got the large base underneath, right? I've got the figures mounted onto the skirmish bases. Okay, so these would be my skirmish bases. I'd move them around like this on the battlefield, and I love this double-sided tape, man. It's just awesome. And then I need to have like a front, or I need to have a marker on their maneuver base, basically, we'll call it that, company base, so that they can, so that when you put it back on, you know which way they need to be facing. Okay, so yes and no. Okay, so it's got to be this way. You can tell the difference when you're fiddling around with it. You can tell the difference that this is holding really well, and when you put it on this side, it's not. Not holding. Does hold. It's holding pretty strong. Okay, so and that's the way I had it on originally when I put these figures on. So yeah, it didn't want to work any other way. So this is like a one way only, right? Okay, so they're on there. Now, my theory is, if I go to pick this up, oh my gosh, I can pick the whole base up. The weight of these extra figures are not making, or they're not causing this base to disconnect from the, okay, I shook a little bit and it came off. What can you do, right? You can't have everything. Yeah, that's good. I shake a little bit and it comes right off. So you just got to be careful. Because when I've got them on the table, I'm going to move them around like this, right? I'm moving it around. I might pick it up and move it. Whatever. It's doing fine. And then when I go to deploy my skirmishers, I can take that off. But I need to have an arrow facing or something maybe on the bottom saying which way is the front of the base. Okay, this is going to work. So when I do my next Napoleonic unit, I'm going to make sure I use magnet on magnet. Yeah, so, all right. So thanks for coming out and watching me experiment with these Nassau troops. Now, one thing I do like about this tape is, like, this is how I normally mount them on my popsicle sticks. And then when I'm done painting them, all I do is just peel them off. And then peel them off the tape. And boom, they're good. So, and then you can reuse this tape if possibly you can reuse it. But usually I don't bother. There you go. And then I just peel that off of the wood and voila. All right, guys. Thank you for coming out and checking out this Wargaming and miniature video about with my magnet on magnet action. And I will see you in the next one.